yesterday, and here we look at Hewitt live warming up. Leaf, I think the key today will be, can he serve as well as he did yesterday?
Yeah, that's going to be important for him to serve well. Kiefer is a player who likes to take a swing, get his opponents off balance. So Hewitt's going to have to serve well and continue to move well like he has in his quarterfinals.
His opponent today, Nicholas Kiefer, who learned a lot of tennis from Boris Becker when we saw him lunging around out there. But the question is, can he win today?
Yeah, well, he's got a shot. Kiefer is a very talented player who's trying to prove that he is the player he once was. This is a guy who got to 4 in the world, so he's got some great skills to pay the bills. But does he have enough to get by Hewitt? We'll have to see. On his day, he can play great tennis.
And yesterday, he was taking on Vince Spadia. This is Kiefer in the near court. Watch this guy move.
A combination of finesse and finish there at the net. Pretty good all-round player, and you can see he can create with the two-handed backhand. Look at the space that he makes by putting that ball with angle and pace.
Spadia was just outclassed in that final set. And Nicholas Kiefer taking some last warm-up shots here. His ground strokes are very powerful.
You know, this is a very talented player, very dangerous because he's a good mover in the style of Lleyton Hewitt. Although at times he doesn't have the mental steel, that commitment that Hewitt has, and that's where he'll be tested today.
Well, that's our matchup. Nicholas Kiefer going against the #1 seed, Lleyton Hewitt. I'm going to put you on the spot like I always do, Leaf. Who do you like today?
Well, it's hard to bet against Hewitt, although Kiefer on his day can play brilliant tennis, but I just don't think he has enough moxie, enough strength to get past Hewitt. I think this is going to be Hewitt's match and perhaps Hewitt's tournament.
I'm going to go with the upset. I like Kiefer. He's got a shot. We'll have it for you very shortly. Lleyton Hewitt taking on Nicholas Kiefer. Lleyton Hewitt, the #1 seed. He's fired up, and we'll have it for you when we return. Center court, the Los Angeles Tennis Center, as our 2 semifinalists, Lleyton Hewitt and Nicholas Kiefer, taking some last-minute warm-up serves.
1 minute.
It's an absolute perfect day for tennis today. Not a lot of wind, 79 degrees. Bit of humidity, but we don't feel it that much at the moment. As we said, not much wind at all. Just about perfect conditions. A bright sunny day here in Westwood on the campus of UCLA at the LA Tennis Center. And Leaf, this is a very great place to play tennis. A little closer look at Lleyton Hewitt.
Yeah, Lleyton Hewitt, the man in tennis the last few years, a guy who hasn't reached the quarterfinals of a slam this year. So for many players, they'd be happy with his record, but not Lleyton Hewitt. He feels like, hey, I need to be doing better than I'm doing. 19 titles at a very young age. And you can see he dropped down to #5. And look at his standing in the champions race, which is his points accumulated since January 1. So this is a guy who has not had the great run of late. Certainly that disappointing result at Wimbledon has set him back somewhat. I think he's trying to correct it here today.
I think the players really have a close look at that champions race, Leaf, because as you mentioned, it starts on January 1. So it's a current kind of thing. This is where the guys are this year.
Yeah, certainly Agassi has put in a great 52 weeks, but that's a rolling total.
Well, Nicholas Kiefer from Germany, Lleyton Hewitt's opponent today.
26 years old. I mean, this guy is in the prime of his career. And he got out of the blocks at a very young age, reaching 4 in the world back in '99. But since then has not been able to sort of maintain that level of consistency. And you can see his ranking has dropped considerably. So this is a nice run he is having, not only here this week, but in the last few weeks. So rounding out to form nicely here on the American hardcourt scene. And this is a guy who's dangerous. You give this guy time, he can create some fine tennis.
Yeah, he knows how to compete. Well, look at what's happened when they've met in the past.
Yeah, Hewitt, not much problems, has not lost a set. Of course, both those results happening back in '99.
We are ready to roll. Here's semifinals from UCLA, the Mercedes-Benz Cup 2003 edition, as Nicholas Kiefer takes to the baseline. First game, first set, Kiefer serving. He yesterday, Leaf, against Vince Spadia, really cranked his serve up in that final set. We'll see if he can keep it up today. Floats wide.
Yeah, good example there of the variety that Kiefer can utilize. I mean, he's got the nice underspin backhand. He'll use the two-hander to flatten it out or roll it. I mean, he's got some variety to play with. Barry, he's got one of those high tosses, though.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes his serve a bit inconsistent. I mean, watch how high this toss is.
Wow. He's got the Yvonne Lendl toss. Yvonne's watching today. I'm sure he doesn't like to hear that because he used to have some trouble with that toss.
I have a feeling that Lendl is not watching tennis. I have a feeling he's probably standing on a tee box just outside Greenwich.
Or collecting some of that nice money off that tour that he plays on. What a golfer he's become. 30 love Kiefer. Yes, Kiefer right down the center. Ace number 1.
And that serve had a nice rhythm to it. And that's a good sign for Kiefer early on if he can produce that kind of serve.
127 miles per hour. Two-hander doesn't make it that time.
And Hewitt's a guy, as we all know, he likes to stay in the backcourt and work the ball around, really explore your game. But that time, willing to come in on the short ball, and that's the all-around game he really does possess. I mean, he can do it all. He can volley, he can pass, just does everything well.
Again, Hewitt keeping that ball low. That's what makes him so tough, Leaf. When somebody gets up to net, that ball is always dipping.
Yeah, and if he doesn't pass you, he forces you to do something very difficult. You know, that backhand low and hard.
Got a great return of serve, and one of the reasons for that is he gets so low. This guy's got a knee bend on the return that is really tremendous. He's looking right at that ball. No, Kiefer gets caught, and Leaf quickly, that 40 love lead disappears.
Yeah, and again, another ball low and hard at the German's feet. And again, eager to play that second shot.
You saw it right there. He was already changing his grip, ready for the second shot. He didn't have to hit it. That's what makes Hewitt so tough.
Oh.
Go wide. Kiefer saying I better be a little more aggressive here. It's a great approach shot.
Yeah, and if he is aggressive, he's got to come in on something good. You know, you can't just sort of volley up or just get the ball into play. You've got to be decisive when you decide to attack a guy like Lleyton Hewitt. I don't know if players said that when they were playing you, though. They just felt like they could just hit it into what, their forehand, or?
No, they said drop shot this big lumbering guy and move him around and you got him. Good looking forehand. No, that'll go wide. We're trying for the angle.
Yeah, and when you play a guy like Hewitt, you feel like the tennis court is shrinking a little bit. He takes away the room that you have to play into because he can cover that space. I mean, that was a good play from Kiefer, but Hewitt got the forehand back. Yeah, that reminds me a little bit of Jimmy Connors, the way he's bent over and showing that intensity right off the bat on the return.
He is really low to the ground. He bends those knees, leans into the ball. A great return of serve. Lleyton Hewitt. It's deuce. All right, Leaf, who do you think is the better return of server right now in tennis, Lleyton Hewitt or Andre Agassi?
I always think Agassi. I just feel like he can put a little more gas behind the return. Perhaps in terms of consistency, Hewitt may have the edge, but Agassi's so explosive. off the return.
I agree. I think Agassi, day in and day out, you don't want to serve to him.
And plus, what side do you pick? You know,
Exactly.
I think with Hewitt, you say, I'm going to go to the forehand, you know, maybe a little more often or at the right time.
Yeah.
Agassi, boy, not sure which side you go to.
Or even into the body. He's so quick. Second serve. That's good. No, the two-hander catches the tape. Interesting. Both of these guys have the variety. They can hit the two-handed backhand, and yet they can both slice under it. Sort of a la Mats Wilander in his heyday.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup, and these early moments are critical for Kiefer, because I have a feeling if Hewitt can get a break here, he might just roll this guy. So Hewitt obviously pressing, Kiefer wanting to maintain, get his nose out ahead here in this opening service game.
Ooh, and a missed volley. Not a tough shot. But again, Kiefer trying to do a little too much with that volley, knowing how quick Hewitt is. And now a chance for Lleyton Hewitt to break in the very first game of this match. Big. Oh, yes. And there it is. Lleyton Hewitt drills that forehand down the line. He breaks serve in the first game.
Man, and he made the phenomenal look pretty easy there. You know, I gave Kiefer a slight edge on the forehand, I thought, but basically they're even. But I think Kiefer has a little more on the backhand, but Hewitt so much on the serve, the return, and the volleys, and that might be enough to get him past the German today. What that doesn't talk about are the intangibles. You know, mental steel, commitment, competitiveness. Now that's where Hewitt may have the most dramatic edge.
I'm not sure who our edge expert is today, but I think I would give movement an X for Mr. Hewitt. I just think he's a little faster and can change directions, Leaf. I think that's the key thing.
Yeah, that was me making that list. You didn't like that list?
I had a feeling when I saw the edge that might be you. I'll look at the scouting report now. These guys.
Well, this is the list I also made, you know, and again, I think his best asset is that mental steel. I mean, he just doesn't bend. And of course, he can do it all on a tennis court, and he seems to play his best tennis when it counts most. And perhaps a weakness, maybe he doesn't have the power of a Mark Philippoussis, but I tell you, he puts the ball where he wants it.
Beautiful day here on the campus of UCLA in Westwood, California. Nice turnout, the late arriving crowd. A look at Kiefer's scouting report.
Yeah, again, a player who, when he has confidence, he can produce some brilliant shot making, a great two-handed backhand. Some liability might be his ability to concentrate for a long period of time, which is a challenge for any tennis player.
This is Doug Spreen, the ATP trainer, already out on court working on the Kiefer. Looks like the left ankle. Boy, this is a bad omen early in the match. We've only played one game of tennis out here in this semifinal. And Doug Spreen, the ATP trainer, now hard at work on the, looks like the left foot or ankle of Nicholas Kiefer.
You know, sometimes, Barry, when you get a tape job, oftentimes the tape can just get through a little bit and it starts cutting into your foot. And according to Doug, guys were both feeling good before the match, so perhaps it was just the tape job that may have bothered them.
Well, yesterday, Vince Spadia had some attention from Spreen, and we will see what happens here. Meanwhile, we'll take a little break. We're on Fox Sports Net, semifinals from Los Angeles.
Yeah, and I saw him getting some treatment earlier from Doug Spreen down in the trainer's room before the match, but didn't seem like it was going to be a real problem, but I'm not sure just how serious this is. It looks like, hey, we just need to redo the tape job. And Kiefer did not show any signs in that opening game that it was really bothering him, I thought.
Well, he worked hard yesterday. Well, Lleyton Hewitt certainly was looking forward to this match today, and I know he wants it to continue. As we watch Spreen continue to tape, and I'll tell you, Kiefer had a lot of problems yesterday against Vince Spadia. Lost that first set, and I thought he was really going to be out of the tournament. Well, Lleyton Hewitt had a few thoughts about today's action.
I'm just going to go out there and play my game. Obviously, try and run a lot of balls down. I'm going to try and get a high percentage of first serves in and make him, move a lot and go for a lot of, not high percentage shots, I guess, and try and put a lot of pressure on his service games as well. But that's a lot easier said than done.
A lot easier said than done. Very true.
Yeah, but he makes it look easy. And that game plan, what he just said, I mean, he pretty much applies that to every tennis match. I mean, he really makes guys beat him, and he's a very tough guy to beat.
Leif, I think the question about Lleyton Hewitt, because of the energy that he has to put in to every match, as we look at his road out here in a very, very tough match yesterday against Kenneth Carlsen. I thought Carlsen in that second set in particular had a great opportunity to upset Hewitt. I think the question is, how long will his career last with the style of play?
Yeah, that's always been a concern, and I think this year we're seeing him tailor off some of the great sort of weeks of tennis that he puts in. He's really being a little more selective about the weeks he plays. So I think he's getting an idea that he'd like to stay in the game a long time, and he's looking to not burn himself out. He's going to try and peak for the right moments.
Well, a big hand for the German Nicholas Kiefer from this LA crowd. These folks are very tennis savvy, this fan base here in Los Angeles. Most of these folks are tennis players as we walk the grounds. And now second game, first set, Hewitt already up a break. That's good. Kiefer right back with a winning forehand. Maybe that tape's helping him.
Yeah, that had to done something right. I mean, not a bad approach. A little bit short, but he put that pass in the right place.
Oh, two-handed error, and now love 30.
And he's had a good run here. I mean, that win over Shang Schalken. Schalken is a very strong player. And of course, over the American Spadia in the quarters, and that was a heck of a match as well. Losing that first set 6-1 and then coming back and winning. Yeah. It's a long road back when you've only won one game.
No, he jumps into the two-hander, over hits that ball.
And you think about Hewitt too, that this is his first tournament since that disaster at Wimbledon when he lost to Ivo Karlovic. I mean, that was
a shock.
My gosh. I bet there's some people who were betting their house that Hewitt would get through that match. I mean, Karlovic was not exactly a household name. Now he is.
Exactly.
The guy who beat Hewitt.
No, that's wide. Speaking of household names, if you'd bet £1,000 on a guy named Ben Curtis to win the British Open golf, you would have won $500,000. 500 to 1, Ladbrokes, before the British Open.
Yeah, that's a once in a lifetime.
Oh.
And that would be like Karlovic winning Wimbledon, really, wouldn't it?
Exactly. 30 all. Oh, yes. And Kiefer unloads on that forehand. Leafy takes a big swing on that return of serve.
And again, when he puts it together, he's brilliant. He's so far today, he's had flickers of brilliance, you know, and he just hasn't been able to sustain it. But boy, the timing perfect on that return.
Break point. Second serve opportunity for the German to get right back in this first set.
Yeah, and that was a good point from Hewitt. You can see he stepped up that time inside the baseline and said, I'm going to dictate play here. And it was Kiefer who was well back behind the baseline doing a lot of retrieving.
Serve out wide. And Hewitt catches Kiefer heading the wrong direction. Boy, he hits that ball well. Just waited for Kiefer to make his move. Hewitt with game point, trying to get to 2-love. will go long, and so Hewitt holds. We are at 2 games to love. Well, Jerome Bettis fought the critics to become the NFL's Rookie of the Year. But after personal tragedy almost made him leave the game, he went on to become one of the game's best. Beyond the Glory shows you the Jerome Bettis you've never known. Tonight at 9 p.m. only on Fox Sports Net. Hewitt up 2-love.
And where's the trademark baseball cap?
Yeah, you know something? He doffed that cap yesterday, had it on both ways, backwards and forwards, and then right about the middle of the match, he said, nope, I'm not going to wear a hat. I know it's unusual to see Hewitt without the cap. Stretches him out.
This is the new and improved Leighton Hewitt. I know Andy Roddick made the shift from visor to baseball cap. Now it's Hewitt going from cap to no cap.
Maybe Kim Clijsters, the wonderful woman player, number 2 in the world right now, and Hewitt's girlfriend said, hey, get rid of that cap.
It's funny, in the 70s and 80s, not many players played in baseball caps, and you can see Kiefer likes to wear his turned backwards.
Great shot, wide open court, and he'll nail it. Well, speaking of women's tennis, Serena Williams, a shock announcement that she's had surgery on the left knee, and she will be out of the U.S. Open. And so one of those Belgian lasses, either Henning Hardeen or Clijsters, will take over the #1 spot after the U.S. Open. You're a women's tennis expert,
Well,
Leif. What do you think?
I'm wondering what Venus Williams is thinking. You know, perhaps Venus is saying, well, great, maybe I can win one now.
Exactly.
It seems like Serena's taking all the trophies home to her bedroom.
Wouldn't that be something? Kiefer now, 30-15, third game, first set. Watch the lob. It's good. Great disguise on that topspin lob off the two-hander from Leighton Hewitt.
That's his favorite shot, and he hits it so perfectly. This isn't a bad attacking play from Kiefer. Look at the depth. Off his back foot, just brushing up the back of the wall, and the timing.
Kiefer was leaning over the net, though. He was really close to that net, and Hewitt saw it. 30 all. It's a fault. Boy, Hewitt would love to get another break here. No, he pulls it wide. And now a big opportunity for Hewitt to get a second break early in this first set. There it is. Leighton Hewitt, a second break. So the #1 seed, Leighton Hewitt, on a roll now, up 2 breaks. First point, fourth game, as Hewitt nets a forehand. Love 15, but Leighton Hewitt now up 3-love. Kiefer kind of gets jammed on that one. Leighton Hewitt, born in Adelaide, Australia, burst on the scene 4 years ago with wins in that Adelaide tournament.
Yeah, that's a big time backhand there. And that's the kind of game Kiefer has to play. I mean, he's got to play aggressively, but he's got to start making more of these shots. He's just made too many errors when he's trying to end the point. I tell you, he did not make this one by much. It landed right on the edge of the line.
That cord helped him too. That ball slowed down just nicely. Chance here for Kiefer to get back in at 15-30. Sounded like a mishit. That will go well over the baseline.
And again, there's the example of Hewitt just putting one more ball back into play, forcing Kiefer to hit another great shot. And the German just could not convert. He just makes you so frustrated because he gets so many balls back. Forces you to win the point again and again.
No call. Hewitt slices out his first ace of the day. Takes him to 40-30 and a point away from a 4-love lead. Goes for another one down the line. It's wide. We go long. It's deuce.
And a good point there from Kiefer. He hung in there, hung tough in the rally. This time it was Hewitt who made the unforced error.
Good play from Kiefer. Kind of jumps into that return. Now another chance for the German to break.
And that is where Hewitt may be vulnerable. That second serve, it doesn't come very fast. If you pick it up early, you can create some advantage. It's just what the German did.
Big chance here for Kiefer. No, it's going to go long. And Kiefer breaks, and he needs it badly. Down 2 breaks, he gets one back. 3-1 first set. This fall, the NFL returns to Fox as Bill Parcells comes to Dallas to return the Cowboys to glory. And Michael Vick and Donovan McNabb battle for the title of best quarterback in the league. The biggest stories in the NFL are in the NFC, and the NFC is on Fox, returning September 7th. Right on the center line as Kiefer dishes up ace number 2. Just missing wide. Serve now is starting to loosen up, that first one in particular. No, forehand way long, and suddenly Hewitt having some problems with control.
And Kiefer's steadied himself just a bit. And you think of how he did back in '99. I mean, he was the first German since Becker and Stieg to get into that top 10. I mean, he was ahead of the game, sort of with Tommy Haas. Tommy Haas followed Kiefer. But Kiefer is a guy who has struggled, and he's shown moments of brilliance today. So you can see some of the game returning.
Kiefer ranked as high as number 6 in the world league. It's hard to believe. And then he kept rolling, got to number 4. Kiefer now 40 love, trying to hold. Oh yes, oh yes, and a beautiful little half volley. Kiefer. Leighton Hewitt in the near court. Nicholas Kiefer on the far side as Hewitt has just rolled a forehand volley into the open court. He's up 15 love, and he is up 3 games to 2, still with a break. Oh yes, Kiefer with that big swing on the forehand return. A clean winner right into the corner.
Yeah, I mean, this is just beautiful. Look at that. Took it on the rise, Boy, you can't hit it any more accurately than that.
Wow. Right on the baseline. 15 all, second serve. And Kiefer now jumping all over that second serve of Lleyton Hewitt. He is charged up, Leaf, wants to get this break back.
Yeah, he's trying to build momentum. Doing a good job.
15-30. Just wide. Oh, Kiefer trying to sort of body English that ball in on the sideline. A few whistles from this crowd, but called wide. Hewitt right down the center, ace number 2.
Barry, we talked about Hewitt playing the big points well. 30 all, that's such a big point in the game. And he comes up with that ace. No, Kiefer gets jammed, hits it wide, and so Hewitt gets out of some trouble there, down a break point, pulls that game out. Now Hewitt at 4-2. We talked about Kiefer's serve. Here's an isolated look at that serve, and you can see the toss, just how high it is. And right there you can see that the toss really is almost excessively high. You can see it's way up here, but the racket isn't really in a position to pull the trigger. So the ball has to drop, Barry, almost 2 or 3 feet before it's in a position to get hit. And boy, the timing has to be just right on that.
It really does. When you throw the ball that high, especially if there's any wind around, you're taking some big chances, but he seems comfortable with it. Good. What a point. Drop shot. It's good. That's wide. Best point of the match, Leaf. Tremendous point from both players.
And these guys deserve every bit of ovation. That was something special. And Hewitt coming up with a bit of variety there. We haven't seen him play many drop shots here this week. Kiefer unable to pull that forehand in. Yeah, that was something special. It's just such a great day for tennis at a great great event. And this is at a university that has a wonderful tennis tradition. I mean, this really, it's what tennis is all about. I love this tournament. And these guys are producing some fine tennis. It's only been getting better here as Kiefer's level of play has caught up.
Yeah, this is getting tight all of a sudden. Love 15. Kiefer down a break. Court, it'll go long. Net very tightly strung, and that ball hits the top, and it flew about 25 feet.
You know, Barry, this tournament used to be just a fairly distinctly American event. You know, Agassi won it in 2001, 2002, and Sampras and Chang and Courier. But this year, it's like the Australian Davis Cup team is having a practice. You've got Lleyton Hewitt here ahead of Kiefer, and we've got Mark Philippoussis, Wimbledon finalist in the other semifinal. So it's a distinctly Australian affair.
Well, the committee, as they're called, headed by tournament director Bob Kramer, his dad, the famous Jack Kramer, have always strived to bring in an international field, Leaf, and they've certainly done it again this year. And as you said, the international players have come to the front. Philippoussis playing a brilliant match last night to beat the 3-time French Open champion Gustavo Kuerten. Doesn't get much better than that. And now Hewitt with 3 break points.
And isn't it amazing how you get close to getting back to even? All of a sudden Hewitt plays 1 or 2 big points. All of a sudden you lapse on your serve, and now you're in big trouble again.
drop shot. Hewitt will get to it easily. But not that one. It goes long. And so Hewitt has broken. When we return, Lleyton Hewitt serves for the first set. Here, first set, the #1 seed trying to wrap up this first set on his own serve. Semifinal action from the 2003 Mercedes-Benz Cup on the campus of UCLA. Error off the two-hander, not a tough shot. Nicholas Kiefer cannot be happy with that one. 15 love. Hewitt 3 points away.
Yeah, and Hewitt, having reestablished that double break advantage, you know, he's really wrestled back control of the match. He'd lost 2 straight games to Kiefer. But Hewitt straightened things out. Now, almost with this first set in his back pocket.
Goes wide.
I mentioned that this was a strictly American event. The last 7 title holders have been Americans, stretching back to '96. Michael Chang won it that year. Of course, 2 years prior to that, 2 Germans, Becker and Stieg.
Yeah, we saw Boris play some brilliant tennis here in Los Angeles. You see those slice backhands from the 2 handers. It's good. Drop shot. And do not mess with Lleyton Hewitt with a drop shot. One of the quickest players in the game. He got up there very easily, knocked off the winner.
And Kiefer's trying to find a way through the Australians' defenses, but no luck that time.
So now Lleyton Hewitt at double set point. Hewitt comes in, catches the error, and so Lleyton Hewitt has won the first set, 6 games to 2. A beautiful day for tennis here in Westwood on the campus of UCLA, the 2003 Mercedes-Benz Cup. Some of the beautiful people turning out here in Southern California. They are always around this event. And so Lleyton Hewitt with the first set, 6-2. Now first game, second set. Kiefer opening with a solid serve out wide. The slice took a little off the speed, only 110 miles per hour, but very effective serve. Nice pace on that jump. Two-hander. It's good. That will go wide. I don't think you want to get into too many long rallies with Lleyton Hewitt.
Yeah, Hewitt looks to be in a very good rhythm. And watching these 2 guys play, they have similar styles, and Hewitt just does it a little bit better, doesn't he?
Exactly.
He can diffuse Kiefer's pace, keeps himself in the point with his good movement. And Kiefer just has not been able to finish, which a lot of players have trouble doing that against Mr. Hewitt.
And the open court, Hewitt in there plenty of time, just drills that two-hander.
Yeah, this is scary good tennis. I mean, look at this return. All of a sudden, Kiefer is in a very awkward position. And look at the real estate now that Hewitt has to work with. Boy, he is so good at putting the ball where there's a little bit of room, isn't he?
Well, his preparation too, Leaf. That racket's back. He's in position. He makes it look so easy because of his great speed. 15-30 now. Hewitt with a chance here in the opening game of the second set to get yet another break. Oh, and another big return off the two-hander. And now Leighton Hewitt with 2 break points. $15-40. Good. Oh, and he almost scrambles that ball back. Hewitt slicing under that forehand.
And I'm sure Kiefer is saying, geez, I can't believe I finally won a point. The guy actually made a mistake.
Exactly. But that's the kind of point you have to play just to bring out one mistake against Hewitt. Still break point. That's wide. Catches the tape, and there it is. Leighton Hewitt has broken serve in the first game of the second.
We talked in the open about how Hewitt plays the big points well. Here's a look at the break points he has had, and watch how he capitalizes. First the passing shot, and then a good aggressive return. And again, good court coverage, getting the job done. And the lob error from Kiefer. So Hewitt plays the big points well, but I think that also says that Kiefer perhaps did not play the big points well there.
Took a big chance on that lob. Let's have a look now at our first set statistics.
Yeah, Hewitt doing a lot of things well. And even though he doesn't have too many winners, he has played such a solid set of tennis. He hasn't given Kiefer many chances.
All right, Leaf, if you're coaching Kiefer right now, what do you whisper in his ear? What can he do to change things around?
I think he has to continue to be aggressive on the second serve. I don't think he's going to beat Hewitt from the back. So take good aggressive chances when he can.
Come in, try and volley a little more. He's a good volleyer. We saw that yesterday against Vince Spadia. Short second serve. Oh, it goes long. Kiefer now starting to look just a little impatient.
Yeah, and Hewitt forces you to do that. He gets you off balance, and all of a sudden you're trying to do too much from behind the baseline, low percentage shots, and then those unforced errors creep in and things start getting ugly.
15 all, first serve fault. Now that's the kind of shot Kiefer's going to have to hit against Hewitt. Beautiful return off that two-hander.
Yeah, that's the one tactic that has really paid off. Aggressive play on the second serve. And look at how he uses that left hand to turn the ball back down the line.
Well, I would say Kiefer, that's his only shot, because until he gets in a rally, he's in big trouble. Maybe the best opportunity he has, Lee, is return a serve. He knows the ball's going to be in front of that service line. Big angle, he'll win it. And Kiefer slips in. And finally, Kiefer puts 2 good points together.
Yeah, and again, it was the return that gave him the chance to win the point.
Yep.
So
sort of a crummy little angle, actually.
tell you, even if it's crummy, you'll take it.
That's right. Sometimes those shots work. Break point, second serve now. It's good. That's even better. And there it is. Kiefer gets a big hand. He breaks. We are at 1 game all. Well, let's have a look now at the JetBlue Airways seats on court. That's where you'll find the 3 lucky winners of today's JetBlue Airways seat upgrade. These 3 lucky fans are now courtside in JetBlue Airways comfy leather seats, complete with real TVs at every seat. JetBlue, it's not the only way to fly, but it should be. Visit JetBlue.com for more information and reservations. JetBlue Airways, the official airline of the Mercedes-Benz Cup. That's even better. Incidentally, those 3 folks seated in the JetBlue, Tracy Sandler, Laura Janis, and Noel Nikula. They got some good seats down there.
Yeah, that's a nice place. They're in the big chairs down there. Very nice.
That is
got the recline working.
That's a great scene, Leaf. I think we got to find a new place to do this commentary. That might be the spot.
Can they tune us in though on those TV sets?
Well, they're probably lucky if they can. Inside out forehand from Hewitt. Boy, he loves that shot.
And that point is such a good example of what Hewitt does there. He was off balance, but he kept the ball deep. And when he saw that he had time, he jumped around, got the forehand into play. That's really where he can cause some problems. And again, a good response to just losing your serve. All of a sudden, he tightens it up. Just always seems to have his head in the game.
No, Kiefer going for it all. Catches the tape, and now Hewitt with another big opportunity for a break. We've already had 2 in the first 2 games of this set. Here's a chance for a 3rd break. Hewitt says he was not ready. Kiefer will start again. See, there's a volley, Leaf, to me. A very natural shot for Kiefer.
Yeah, he is comfortable up there. He's comfortable taking the ball on the fly. Not a natural volleyer, but he certainly can produce from the front of the court. Good aggressive move. Nice little check step. I mean, it's not Barry McKay's backhand volley, but it's
careful now.
It's a pretty good one.
And a close call here. Kiefer has a look, a few whistles.
You must have hit a few backhand volleys here.
That's about all I could do was cover that
I saw the
net.
mark
Didn't
over
want to
there,
stay in the back.
but I don't know if it's touch or not.
Wow.
No, I don't know.
Carlos Bernardo's in the chair, his first test. He's not going to overrule. And there is the double fault as Kiefer very unhappy with that call. Stay with us. We're on Fox Sports Net, the Los Angeles Tennis Center. Break in the second set. Hewitt has the first. 6-2. And Kiefer just continues to try and scrape back these breaks. Here we go again, love 15. No. Strange error there for Hewitt. He overhits that forehand early in the rally. Rarely see him do that. Kiefer with another chance. No call, right on the sideline. Ooh, that was tight. I thought for a moment he had overhit that ball.
And that's one of the toughest shots in tennis, a low ball from the middle of the court. And Hewitt handled it well, put it right on the sideline. Barry, I was talking about how many backhand volleys you must have hit here, because I'm looking at the former champions, and it says here that you won this tournament in 1960.
I did at the old Los Angeles Tennis Club, and I hit a few volleys, I can tell you that much.
Who'd you beat in the final?
Played my old friend Earl Butch Buchholz, 7-5 in the fifth. There was 3 out of 5 in those days, and it was a big day. Long time ago. Kiefer missing with the forehand once again.
Sounds like you had Buchholz's number. Earl Buchholz is now the tournament director, formerly of the Miami Masters Series event.
A very successful tournament director, I might add. Now, we had some good matches. 30 all now. Hewitt with the break, up 2-1. No, Kiefer going for it all, jumps into that ball, a la Marcelo Rios. Doesn't work.
And you look at that and you go, oh, unforced error. But geez, you know, Hewitt really forces you to overhit, and Kiefer obviously sensing he had to do a lot with that ball, just lost control of it.
Game point Hewitt to go to 3-1. Bouncer. And Hewitt uses that second serve. The big spin, 3-1.
There hasn't been an Australian champion since 1970. Barry, can you tell me who that man was? 1970 LA Open champion.
Wow, I'm going to guess John Newcomb.
The Rocket.
The Rocket.
Rod Laver.
Wow. How could I miss that one? Yes. Kiefer, nice touch on that high backhand volley. No kidding. 1970, the Rocket was still roaring away. Well, he won the Grand Slam in '69, so he wasn't far off his best. Kiefer opening up now. That's the way he's got to serve to get back in.
You know, after that year that Laver won it, there were 17 straight American champions. I mean, that's why this event really has always been sort of an American showcase.
That's amazing.
But this year's different. I think we're going to have an Aussie
We got
hoisting that silverware.
Yeah. Kiefer doesn't like the toss. He'll start again.
Yeah, see, for Kiefer, this is a big game. You know, you're down a set and a break. You've got to stay within reach here. You can't go down a double break. So this is a good game from the German at the right time. And this is a sign that he's here to stay. He gets just a little bit of space down the line. We found it beautifully.
And Kiefer holds at love his third ace of the afternoon, and Nicholas Kiefer trying to hang in. 3-2, Hewitt, second set. The second, he has the first 6-2, but this young man from Germany trying to get back into this match. Still down a break, but he played one of his best games of the match that last game, Lee.
Yeah, that'll give him a bit of a boost, and I'm sure he's thinking, geez, if I can get maybe a look at a second serve, apply some pressure, maybe I can get back to even. It's a long road back, but it is not without some hope.
Short ball, look out. Nothing about the 15th row of the stands. And the one thing you had to be careful on that, if his racket hits the net on the follow through, he loses a point, and he was close. Again.
Well, that's the second time we've seen Kiefer light up that forehand on the return. Boy, and does he time that one beautifully.
15 all. No, a miss hit. We talked about how close Hewitt was on that overhead leaf.
Again, if his racket touches that net, could lose a point. Ooh, he pulled that back.
He
yeah.
sure did. If he follows through, that racket hits the net and he loses a point. Oh, great effort from Hewitt. He almost makes the get.
Yeah, and even though he doesn't win the point, it's this type of effort that can unnerve his opponent. You know, you just feel like, gosh, he almost got that.
Exactly. What do I have to do to keep the ball away from this guy? 30 all. 3-2 Hewitt. Will go wide. The two-hander just wide, and Kiefer.
That's too bad for the German. You know, he was just, I sense that he's coming on a little bit here, but it's those kinds of errors that can derail a comeback.
Just wide. And Kiefer not happy with the call. 4-2 second set. Introducing 5-4, 3-2-1. The only show taking you inside the world of extreme sports every weekday. Leanne Tweeden and our group of experts bring you the entire world of extreme sports all in one place. With breaking news, event highlights, and insider features that you won't find anywhere else. 5-4, 3-2-1. Weekdays at 5 p.m. only on Fox Sports Net. 4-2 now. Hewitt with the break in the second set. He has the first. 6-2. And Kiefer, a big hand as he serves ace number 3.
And Kiefer did not start off the year well. I mean, he only won 2 of his first 8 matches. But since then, boy, he's put together a nice little streak, winning 9 of his last 13. So he's been doing some good things on the tennis court of late. But unfortunately, unable to do enough good stuff today. And Hewitt's the one really dominating play.
Full swing. Sensed his opportunity, moved in quickly.
Yeah, and Hewitt always seems to be on balance. It's hard to knock him off balance, and this time he gets Kiefer leaning the wrong way.
15 all. Hewitt would love to break again and serve for the match.
Yeah, that's a good serve there. You know, back in the 80s, I played a guy by the name of Mats Wilander who did a little bit of the same thing that Hewitt does. He doesn't give you many mistakes, has enough punch at the right times, volleys a little bit, serves pretty well, and has the heart of a champion.
He was a great competitor. Oh, Kiefer missing with the backhand volley in open court. Big opportunity missed. Kiefer, who's a big fan of German soccer, the Bayern Munich team in Hanover, checks those games out all the time when he's home, which isn't too often. 30 all. Well, that is a bad stat on serve. That's a fault. Net court. Net court again. And it stays in. Boy, he got lucky on that ball. I thought it was going to go wide.
Yeah, and he needed that one to fall in. And it just tucked inside the sideline. Again, Kiefer trying to keep it close. He's only down 1 break.
Almost too good as Hewitt leans into that two-hander, goes for it all, and it works. It's deuce.
And I think that's his favorite backhand, the one cross court. I don't think he plays the down the line shot as effectively as he does that one. Perhaps his most dependable shot, a two-hander cross court.
Kiefer in with one of his best serves that wasn't an ace, but it could have been. So Nicholas Kiefer hangs in with a chance to hold here and get to 4-3. And there it is. Ace number 5 for Nicholas Kiefer. Stay with us. 4-3 Hewitt, second set. First point of the 8th game of the second set as Lleyton Hewitt now up a break, serving, trying to get to 5-3. That's great. Look at Hewitt cover that little drop volley right on top of it.
And like Kiefer, I thought that ball may have missed. You know, he's looking back at the linesman to say,
that's good.
yeah, I agree, Nicholas. I thought that may have missed. But the calls are going Hewitt's way as well. Kiefer trying to pressure Hewitt. Instead, he ends up just pressing. And another error cropping up. And Hewitt very efficient with his first serve. He's not a tall player. Just 5'11", but he gets all he can out of that serve. Boy, that one had some angle too.
And Hewitt with his 4th ace. Undefeated heavyweight. 5 games to 3 now. A must game for Nicholas Kiefer to hang in this match.
Well, this hasn't really been a heavyweight bout because these guys aren't over 6 feet. Two fairly diminutive players when you think about the stature and size of the guys in the top 10. But boy, you talk about guys who get everything out of their game, particularly this man, Lleyton Hewitt.
That was like a roundhouse punch, that last forehand. So Lleyton Hewitt now 3 points away, love 15. Let for serve and a bad break for Kiefer. He was all over that volley coming in behind that good serve. He'll have 2. Another let. Automatic electronic net caller there, helping Carlos Bernardos in the chair. First serve. There is great serve and volley action from Kiefer. Just kind of floated into that ball. I think that's his only play at this point. He's not going to out-rally Lleyton Hewitt. Kiefer gets caught, and you could hear Hewitt with the wide open court. He misses that shot. An easy ball for him. Gives Kiefer a chance. 15-30. That's long. way over the baseline on the two-hander. Now Hewitt 2 points away, 30 all. Colleague Leif Shiras is headed courtside just in case this match might end. We'll try and catch a word with the winner. Hewitt 2 points away, 30 all. Service ace Nicholas Kiefer, number 6, and a great time for it. Gives him the chance to hold. And there it is. Nicholas Kiefer holds serve. Hewitt serves for the match when we return. Number 1 seed and former U.S. Open Wimbledon champion Lleyton Hewitt now serving for this match. Up 5-4. And he starts off with double fault number 2.
Yeah, an inauspicious start, Barry. I mean, even for a great player like Hewitt, you hate to surrender that opening point on a double fault.
Too good with the two-hander. But Leif, don't you think, no matter what kind of a player you are, you're 5-4, you're trying to close out a match, there's a tendency to rush just slightly.
Yeah, no doubt. Certainly the pressure builds at that moment because you're the penultimate part of the match.
15 all. Hewitt pulls it wide. His slice out wide.
Yeah, and that's a nice serve because you are going for it, yes, but you're adding a lot of spin. And remember, spin is another form of control. So even though he went for that serve, it was a good controlled serve.
Hewitt 2 points away. He'll have 2. Right down the center. And now Lleyton Hewitt at double match point. Ooh, just missing wide. Went for the ace to try and end it. Good. That will go long just over the baseline. And listen to this crowd. They'd love to see Kiefer break.
Now, wasn't that a great effort by the German to hang in that point? It looked like Hewitt had delivered a knockout punch. Kiefer just getting that backhand back into play.
Still match point. Very close. Looked like a fault. No call. And Kiefer. Unbelievable two-hander Leaf right down the line for a winner. It's deuce.
Now, Kiefer was outside the sideline. And again, good patience here, but look at that one, finds the sideline, and here he is finding this sideline down the forehand. Boy, he saved his best for last just to stay in this match.
Kiefer fights off 2 match points. Look out. That goes just wide. Ooh, I thought he had Hewitt in trouble.
I tell you, Hewitt did the right thing, though. He was forced to attack, and he came up with a good forehand deep. And Kiefer was tested.
And Leif Hewitt almost went for the volley on that ball that happened to go wide. Match point again. Oh. That's a big serve. That goes wide. And there it is. Leighton Hewitt has done it. A straight set win, 6-2 and 6-4. Stay with us. We're on Fox Sports Net, and we'll chat with the winner when we return. Hewitt into the finals. 2 and 6-4. He's courtside now with Leif Shiras. Leif.
Thanks, Barry. Leighton Hewitt, boy, what a match you played today. You played a very dangerous opponent, and you handled him pretty easily.
Yeah, well, I'd matched up twice about 4 or 5 years ago against him, and it came out pretty well in those. And I knew I had to go out there and play my game, and not change too much. And I felt like I moved really well, and I held serve pretty well, and I got off to good starts in both sets.
Well, this tournament has always had sort of an American feel. The last 7 champions have been Americans. And here we've got you in the final, and then Philippoussis in the semi. Is this like an Australian sort of Davis Cup scrimmage, or?
Yeah, I hope so. It's obviously great for Australian tennis, and if Mark can get through tonight, obviously he's going to have his work cut out though, playing Wayne Ferreira. Probably one of the older guys on tour, but he's still having a wonderful year. Made the semis of the Australian Open, so Mark's going to have his work cut out. It's going to be tough, I guess, whoever I got to play tomorrow, and I just got to go out there and give my best and see what happens. Well,
your first tournament back since Wimbledon. I know you had some unexpected results there, but what have you been doing in that time before the tournament here?
Yeah, just training. Trying to get used to hard courts as much as possible, and doing a lot of stuff in the gym and fitness. It takes a lot out of you. This stretch leading into the US Open, and then straight after US Open, I got a Davis Cup semi-final. So, I've got to try and be peaking for that whole time, and you've got to be very fit mentally and physically.
Well, you've had some great results. You've been able to build off that. How do you deal with a loss like Wimbledon, for instance, and you seem to react just as well, winning or losing?
Yeah, it's obviously hard to take at the time, and it'll stick in the memory bank for a long while, I think. But you got to go out there and try and block it out. And there's another Grand Slam coming up in about 4 weeks' time, and obviously that's the priority right now.
All right, Leighton, congratulations. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Leif.
All right, Barry, back up to you.
All right, Leif. Well, Leighton Hewitt already looking forward to the U.S. Open, but he played some brilliant tennis today. Stay with us. We're at the 2003 Mercedes-Benz Cup.